Phase 5, the negotiation. Hi, I'm Bec from Be Free Emotional Fitness Training, and I support women and girls to become emotionally stronger.
And I'm Vern from Move Forward Mentoring, and I specialise in male mentoring, helping boys and men find their passion, speak from their heart, and build better relationships.
And together we are rekindling relationships. We work with couples through mentoring sessions as well as facilitating communication and creative workshops to build deeper connections.
Welcome to our podcast, designed to help you strengthen and bring more fun into your partnership, as well as create a more loving, healthy, and strong connection.
Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
So we're going to talk about the negotiation and what does that look like in a blended family.
Yeah. So this is another part of that storming, but now we're moving into the norming. It's actually about we've come together, there's been conflict, which has helped the growth, and now it's about us all having a good understanding of what each other needs in that space.
So like forming new routines and boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a middle stage, isn't it?
So this may look like having family meetings where you start to set new routines as a family and not focusing on being the step or the past family life you had. It's people moving forward now. How's this going to look like as a total family? What are our new routines? What are our boundaries? What are our expectations? What are our chores? What do celebrations look like? Because they may have looked quite different.
They've changed quite a bit with us, haven't they?
Yeah, that would be one that we had to negotiate around a little bit because that was tricky.
Yeah.
Still is a little bit tricky for us.
It is because both families have had a very different way of celebrating special events.
Or not celebrating them.
Or not celebrating them.
So that was us really forming new traditions as a family.
And there's a lot of negotiation that comes up in that. And you've got to be able to, with negotiation, you've got to be able to compromise. You've got to be able to say, well, this is important to me. This I'm okay with. And working out what's our values, what's the most important things that we all think. Okay, let's focus on those. The other stuff, probably not important in the
This
long
can
run.
be a tricky one too. So, for example, one that came up for us was celebrations. Trying to appease or please everybody was really quite tricky in some ways because there's a couple of them that have really strong views, but then there's a couple of them that are really like easygoing, don't care either way. That was tricky to negotiate and still is a little bit to this day. So we had to kind of form or create our own traditions, didn't we?
It's like meld in the blending of the family is a blending of a tradition. Okay, so now we have this new way of celebrating something which allows for everyone to feel okay in that space because we don't want people to feel uncomfortable with what we're doing.
No, we want it to be a nice experience for everybody. That can be fun but challenging.
Even for, say, Father's Day, my girls and I have created a tradition. I never had Father's Day really with my dad. I don't remember it. But my girls and I created a tradition of going out for a walk in the bush and having a picnic. Your boys don't celebrate Father's Day. No. So we come together. It's like, oh, how do we do this? So we blended that and it became still a walk and a picnic, but it wasn't a focus on it being Father's Day. It was a fun activity that we could all do together. Let's go and have some fun together. And because it didn't actually happen on Father's Day, it happened a few days later, then it wasn't so Father's Day focused. It was more, oh, this is just some fun thing we're going to do.
Yeah. And for the most part, we've done pretty well at negotiating that. And that's morphed and evolved and changed. So what that looked like last year was quite different to what that looks like this year for us as a family.
I think that's as we become more of a family, less of a blend and more of a unit.
Yeah, that's right. I like the way the eldest daughter is very easygoing with these things. She doesn't really focus on past traditions or get stuck in the sentimentality of that. She's very adaptive to going, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Let's try that. That's new. I like that idea. I actually like it better. For the most part, she always likes it better. So, that makes it easy. And then as long as the youngest one, she's involved in the process of
the creation
of it. So, it might be we went and got donuts that day and had a picnic. She went and picked that for everybody.
Yep. And she gets to help, even though she struggles the most with the change, as she's more involved in the process of helping create the new tradition, the new way of doing things, then she's more likely to go along with it. She helps drive it. As long as she's helping to drive it, then it's okay for there to be change.
Yeah.
So it's understanding what's happening in that space and being able to look at the whole family and go, okay, what does the whole family need and how do they need it?
Yeah.
And negotiation's a tricky one.
Really is.
Well, I mean, it's not negotiating with toddlers, thank goodness, where they just say no.
Yeah.
There's no negotiation.
Yeah.
But even in a relationship, there's always negotiation. There's always compromise. When you blend a family, obviously there's going to be a lot more points of view in there, aren't there?
And, you know, people might find themselves in a similar situation with this where the boys have been raised by their dad quite religious and the girls have no religious upbringing at all. And that's very different.
That's a really different blend, isn't it?
Yeah, and that could cause potentially quite big issues, but we've managed to navigate that really well, I think, in some respects.
Yeah.
You know, we've just come up with our own new traditions because we're a unique family of a blend of so many different people.
And that negotiation has extended into chores where now there's so many people in the house. It's really important that everyone actually helps out.
I think this is really good too because it makes everyone feel like they're part of the family.
Yep, they've got something to do in the family. They've got a role to play.
So we have like a little roster on the fridge, don't we, of their chores, and then we swap their chores around.
Every month.
Yeah.
And that means for us, it's a combination of them becoming good humans who can take care of themselves. So when they do become adults and leave, they know how to do all the things, wash the dishes, clean the clothes, you know, take care of themselves.
Good life skills.
But in a family, what we do is we create this really well-honed team. It's a team that works together. And when we have a role and we all play that role and we all help out, then we're this really well-functioning team, really effective group that can get stuff done and everyone gets to enjoy being in their space. They've all got something to add.
We evolve to a better family.
A better family. And negotiation is key. And I think there's been a lot of negotiating through family meetings where we've sat down when there's things have come up and we said, okay, we need to talk about this. I think at first they're all just like, this will be a lecture or
they
something.
Don't like family meetings much.
They're not a big fan of it, but I think keeping them short and succinct and having like one thing we talk about.
And everyone having their say. So we would go around the table. Everyone would have their say, which is really important because then everyone feels heard. And it's not just us talking because as soon as we do that and they think it's a lecture, they switch off. So, you know, it's everyone having a little bit of a say and being heard works really well. I think the aspect of with the boys and the girls, and we're talking about over one side they're raised quite religiously and then girls aren't that side and then we're just neutral in the middle here. It's trying to get each person to see it from the other person's point of view too. So, you know, I've quite often had to go in and have a chat with my youngest one would be leaning more towards religious thinking. And so I've had to quite often go in and negotiate with him and say, well, you know, this celebration is important to them. So, you know, we look at it from their aspect and how can we still make this important to them, but you be comfortable as well.
I like that because it is really realizing that there are lots of different personalities and that we have to actually speak to each one.
And this is really good for them as they grow up and become adults because they're already working out how to negotiate and compromise and adapt and evolve, which they wouldn't really get this in such a unique state as they do now living together.
Yeah. So we're actually helping them grow as better humans in this space by blending them because now they've got different viewpoints and they've got to work around that, which is what we have to do every day as adults.
And the girls will understand people with religious traditions or
even just boys.
Thoughts or beliefs or, a little bit more. And that's good. It just means that we're a little bit more adapting, I guess, to how everyone works in the world and everyone functions a bit differently. And that's a good thing.
If we can openly discuss and negotiate the dynamics of the family with the children, then they do learn those skills of negotiating their way. And that will help them in relationships. They'll help them at work.
Absolutely.
So it's not just, we feel like this is how it's going to be. This is what we would like. What would you like? Let's work this out together.
And I think that's a really good point. There's no real right or wrong.
No, there's no right or wrong way to do things, especially with families and individuals and personalities.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's got their own way, haven't they?
Yeah. And coming up with a whole new different way is also fun and creative. If you can come up with a whole new different way of being in that family.
Yeah.
A new tradition or, you know, a new habit or value, that's really important too. And I think that makes you feel more connected as a family as a whole and no division there. You're forming a whole new family.
Which
ideal.
then leads to an acceptance of the family. And that's what we're going to talk about in our next podcast.
Phase 6, the acceptance. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and follow us.
And check out our website at rekindlingrelationships.com.
Bye for now.
See ya.